Welcome to the K-Drop, your weekly dose of what's in K-pop music and culture. Let's get it. What's up, Sam? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's pretty early, and let me tell you why. Because yesterday we were going to record at like 10 p.m. or so,
man.
and I came all the way over here to do it, and I forgot a key component of all the things that we need to record.
Yes,
so we
all
just
the
set
things
up
that
and I
need
left.
to make us sound good.
So we just set up, and then I left.
Yes.
And so we're here at. Actually, it's not too early.
It's not that early.
Yeah, it's 11 some, but we got here at like 9 something.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I feel kind of tired.
Yes.
A little bit excited though because we're covering something pretty massive today.
Yes, it's BTS time.
Army.
This episode is pretty much all about BTS today, as you can see with all this nice CDs that you guys see here. But
And
first,
if you don't know BTS, then you've been living under a rock this whole time.
For sure, because they are just everywhere at this point in our lives.
Huge.
Yes, but before we start, this episode is brought to us by K-Pop Trash. I'm sorry, I said brought to us. It's brought to you guys by K-Pop Trash. Go and use our promo code KDROP20 for 20% off anything on their site,
20%?
kpoptrash.com. Also follow them on IG
Wow.
at K-Pop Trash Merch. Yes.
Get that.
We're going to get to things right away today. We're going to start with the current wave.
Current wave.
So we actually are going to do a new format today. We're going to be bouncing off current news on each other. And we're going to, kind of follow up with whatever topic that we want, whatever question that we want, whether it is, just any question, whatever we want to say about the topic. And we're going to ask the other about it.
Yeah.
Sam, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Sure. I would imagine this is not surprising to anybody, but Blackpink has surpassed One Direction to become the most followed group
Oh, wow.
on Instagram.
The most followed group.
The most followed group on Instagram, having 17.1 million followers, whereas One Direction has 17 million.
Oh, wow. So
17.1, yeah. One Direction were good sports about it. Obviously, they were congratulatory toward them.
Nice.
Which is nice. I guess that's something that's far beyond most people's understandability, I guess. It's like, how
17
can you deal with being the most popular something in the world? It's not about being the best something in the world. It's just
Right.
being like the most known,
Yes.
the most exposed, in some ways the most publicly vulnerable entity in the world. Also for Blackpink being, affiliated with the most controversial
Right.
group in the world as well. But apart from that, what if you were to wake up one day and you were the number one most followed person on social media? And you had that one day.
All the
okay?
power?
So one day, and then the next day you wake up and you're back to -5 followers. Okay.
Oh, shoot.
So what if that day you had the most followers in the world, and you get to post once?
Once.
Yeah. What would you post?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a deep question.
You have one chance, dude.
I have one chance to post.
Yes.
And I'm the most followed person in the world?
Yes.
What would be the most important thing? This is so sudden. I would. Oh man. Like
I don't even have an answer for that.
You gotta give me what you would do first. I gotta
I didn't even think about it. I was just like, I'm gonna lay this question down on James.
I just on the top of my mind.
Okay.
It's just on the top of my mind. If it's one post. Man.
Love yourself.
Love yourself? Like if it's one post and like I had that much influence in giving out that news to, or like giving something to another person,
Yes.
it would probably be a positive message for sure. If it's just one message.
That'd be terrible. If it was like a negative message.
Yeah, like, or I just post like a picture
Everybody
of my
sucks.
food or something. I don't know. Because I love to eat my food and maybe just something positive, a positive message for all to just read and go on about their day. If it's one message, I mean, if I get to post multiple messages, I don't know, but one message. Dang, Sam, you started it off really nice.
It's really difficult. I'm gonna go ahead and try and answer that question too, just so that it wouldn't be unfair. This is off the top of my head. I would think the most positive thing that you can do to put out into the world is something that people can relate with and people would believe and so it has to be something that you do regularly. It can't just be something special all of a sudden. You know, like you can't go skydiving and be like, live your life. It's like you go skydiving every day. Like not everyone has that opportunity. You know, so I would probably be like working out, and then like probably like take a picture of like all the sweat on the ground.
Oh man,
be like, get yours.
Oh,
#army. Something cool like that, you know.
Nice,
positive.
I like that. I like that. That's a nice one.
Yeah,
very good, very good. Yeah. Okay, cool. We're off to a great start in this new current wave. All right, just to connect with Blackpink, Blackpink just had their first performance at Coachella this past weekend.
Beautiful.
First girl group to ever do it. And I thought, you know, they were honestly going to do like a 15, 20-minute set, but it was like a full-on hour amounts of music, which was pretty awesome. My question is, not as deep, but what other K-pop group do you think is capable of taking on such a type of performance? It's not what you want to see, but what K-pop group right now do you think is capable of taking on that kind of performance?
Well, I believe the only rightful K-pop group to sit on that throne, the Aegon Targaryen of that Coachella stage, would probably for sure be BTS.
BTS, yeah.
But that's almost like an obvious answer. So if I were to go a little bit differently, I would think it's difficult, man. You have to go with a group that's very fun to watch when they dance, because K-pop is all about very synchronized, well-rehearsed dancing. Whereas other groups, like for example, like Janelle Monáe, was just killed it, right? And obviously she had synchronized, like, you know, choreographed dances and all that, but she just really works the crowd. It's a different animal, but I'd like to see EXO actually.
Oh yeah, they're pretty worldwide. I would say
if it was like the whole group, that would be nice.
Like, okay, so what I imagined, because Coachella, I mean, a lot of the headliners, they push, I think, music culture forward. They do a lot of things, you know. They're like these days, it's like the people that go on there, it's all about the art. You know, sometimes they do special things, like, you know, and Destiny's Child comes together. Yeah. So like I was kind of thinking back about how like Destiny's Child came back together, and I was wondering, what if 소녀시대 like just all got back together on
with
Coachella?
Jessica?
Yeah, with Jessica. That would be amazing, right?
That would be crazy.
I thought that would be a pretty. I mean, 소녀시대 is obviously a worldwide girl group.
Yeah.
They're fully capable of taking on, you know, a stage like Coachella. So I'm wondering if that happened, that would be pretty epic.
What would be the song you would like to hear by them?
By them?
Yeah.
I don't know. It depends where they're in life, you know? Because if they're in their 40s and they're getting together, it's going to be a little weird, right?
Max, like they're 35. Like Taeyeon is the oldest. She's like, let's say she's 35, okay?
What would be the song?
Yeah. What would be the song that you would want to watch live with all 9 of them?
I think it's G.
Yeah,
because it's just like what brought them to existence.
That's
you know?
legit.
Yeah, it's legit.
I would probably want 소원을 말해봐.
소원을 말해봐. I like that song too. Yes, I like that song too. Yeah, I mean that would be pretty epic, I think.
Okay, then
next up,
my next one is BTS's Map of the Soul Persona, ranked number 1 on Billboard 200, and it makes BTS's 3rd album.
Yes.
To rank number 1 on Billboard 200.
3rd album.
After Love Yourself, Tear, and Love Yourself, Answer. Now, this is, whenever you talk about BTS, which this entire episode is about, you have to, they're always equated to the word success, right? So my question to you is, would you rather achieve BTS level success by doing something that you are not too passionate about?
Okay.
Or barely get by on something you absolutely love?
Okay.
This is a very common question.
This is a common
like
question, yes, for sure. Personally, if it doesn't have anything to do with like my financial standing, and both are capable of letting me live a comfortable life,
or you're barely getting by.
Barely getting by with the other one? Man, that's tough. You got to be realistic too. But yeah, I think it is very important for your psyche to be doing what you love. You got to love yourself, man. You got to love yourself.
On the other end, it's also very healthy for your psyche to be provided for, to have your provisions.
True, true.
So what's more important?
What's more important? For me, it's definitely just doing what you love, doing what you are passionate about. I think that's like the biggest thing in life.
That's the answer.
Yeah, that is the answer.
Beautiful.
Yeah, as a grown, I think like younger me would probably have said success for sure.
Yeah.
But at this point in my life, yeah, for sure, it's about like what you love to do. Love to do. Yeah.
I believe it.
Yes. All right. My next question. BTS performed at SNL this past Saturday for their comeback stage. Pretty epic that they came back in American soil.
Live.
Live.
Yeah.
With a live band, by the way, which I can say something about that too in a little bit when we do examine their songs.
Right.
My question is just very simple. It's what are your thoughts on their comeback stage being in America rather than Korea? Like, do you think that does something? Do you think that says something? Like, what do you think about that?
I think it definitely says something, and it shows their confidence. It shows their confidence in their fans in Korea. So I think some people might perceive it as, oh, you know, they don't really concern themselves with their home country anymore.
Right.
But I kind of see it as they trust that Koreans are still going to watch that. They already got that fan base.
Right.
And they trust the army in Korea. And now they're simply appealing to a huge demand in America. And so they're doing everyone a service in that regard. And they're trying to be as accessible as possible. And that's because there's a demand for it. So I really respect that. And I think they made the right move.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think they're global. And probably the best place to do it is in America, where, you know, they can get exposure in that way. Not that they need it. But they also, you know, like a lot of Korean you know, K-pop groups now, they go on, you know, V Live, which is like a Korean, you know, like they groups go up there. It's like kind of like a YouTube.
Right.
And they did like a live, you know, broadcast the day that, you know, Map of the Soul Persona released, like about an hour, where they were talking with people and fans and answering questions and stuff like that as part of their comeback.
Yeah.
You know, so in an instance, like the stage was first in America, but they did reach out to the fans in Korea first before that. So yeah, I mean, I think it really doesn't matter, but it is really cool, I think, that they were able to
so big
to perform in America.
I think it's something to say when, you know, we have to face the facts. Like, not everyone that's Korean listens to K-pop. I think that would be very ignorant to assume that.
Right.
But a lot of my friends, I would even say most of my friends, don't listen to K-pop. And even they are wondering, who is this BTS? You know, like, who is it? And then, of course, once that's explained to them, they're somewhat proud of that, you know, because it's not like, oh, I'm so glad they made it in that niche market. It's more like, whoa, like, we made it now,
right,
as a country, as a people.
Yes.
And so BTS brings people together in that way.
Yeah.
And of course globally as well.
Yes, for sure. Yes. And that is our current wave. Tell us how you feel about our new format. I liked it. It was pretty good. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, it was fun for me.
Yeah. And now we're going to jump straight into our kBOPz.
kBOPz.
And this week, it's all BTS. BTS. Bangtan Sonyeontan.
Yes.
Bulletproof Squad.
Bulletproof Boys.
The Bulletproof Boys, I guess. Yeah. Bangtan means bulletproof, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, we'll get into it. Yeah. This Map of the Soul Persona.
Yes.
A little background. Once again, not that you guys need it, but we'll just give it.
Yes.
The vocals in this group are Jimin, Jungkook, Jin, and V, or Pui. His name is also Kim Taeyong. Rappers, RM, who is the leader of the group,
yes.
Suga, and J-Hope. Fan club is the ARMY.
Yes.
ARMY. Pretty much the biggest fan club.
Are you in the ARMY?
I am not registered. In my heart, I am.
I see.
Yes. But yeah, they're popular as the world right now, so it's obvious that they have to be the biggest at this point.
Yeah.
And what's really cool is that, I mean, K-pop groups do this. They if K-pop groups go, K-pop group fan clubs do this, where if the K-pop group that they follow goes on to like a variety show or something, the fan club like sends things to like the, you know, like the production set. Yeah, the production set. Like they send stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then like I think ARMY is like on a different level.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So when BTS like touched down in New York, they went on this radio show, I think in New York. I forgot what the name of the radio show was. But beforehand, the ARMY, they sent flowers to the radio set, for them, for like thanking them for having BTS on the show.
Wow.
It's pretty crazy, like how fan clubs work now, especially BTS's army.
Are we going to find some flowers outside the door after this one?
Oh man, like at a certain point, I hope so.
Yeah. Maybe just some grass.
Maybe some grass. But they are known for their exciting choreography, their obvious vocal skills, and
skills.
Also, I think more recently, not in their beginning, but not in the the start of their careers, but towards the, like right now, like Love Yourself series and now the Map of the Soul series, they're more caring about the construction of their music, how it connects from CD to CD, and like what type of messages that they're trying to send. Yeah, which makes them a little bit different from what we're used to. Notable songs: 불타오르네, Fire, 쩔어, just dope, 피땀 눈물, Blood, Sweat, Tears, and more American when they start reaching out to American Soul, DNA, Fake Love, Mic Drop, Idol, all these songs worldwide. Yes. Yeah, I mean, they're just a big group.
They're the biggest, actually. I mean, I would say they're the equivalent of Beatlemania in 2019. Map of the Soul Persona was released April 12th of 2019. Overall, according to Billboard.com, Map of the Soul Persona is described as a nod to the band's past while showcasing their maturity and newfound understanding of love and the ever-widening world around them. The tracks have a clear message: finding joy in love and reaching out to the world.
Yes.
It's simple but deep, and they're actually achieving that goal, which is a beautiful thing. And we should start off by talking about their single.
Yeah, their single. It's Boy with Love. In Korean, it's 작은 것들을 위한 시, which means a poem for the small things. And we'll get into the context in a little bit. Before that, I did want to say something. No, I'm sorry. Let's just jump into it.
Okay.
Yeah, the song context.
Now I'm curious about what you're about to say.
No, I think I totally forgot about it.
See, that's the thing.
I'm sorry.
You
I gotta
give
say
a little
it.
bit and you take away. It makes me wonder,
I gotta say it when it comes into my mind, But BTS's Boy with Love is about, I mean, you don't know it off of the English title, but the Korean title, which is the poem about small things, does tell you about what it's about. Song about the small things that make being in love the more fun. It's the small things that you care about. It's like the little text that you wait for from, a girl or boy that you like.
That's cute, yo.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a very mature way of thinking about it. Sometimes if you're young, those kinds of things, it bothers you so much, right? But that also shows their growth in maturity in the way that they think. And this is like evident throughout this whole album. The context, is more evident in this Korean title. It's a very innocent take. Like the song is very innocent sounding. It's very happy, romantic sound. And it does connect with a song from their 2014 album School Love Affair called Boy in Love. Oh. And that song was a little bit more of a direct way. It was a very rockish, punkish kind of beat. And then they laid, their vocals and rap on it. But it was about a song that is more about the direct way that you would express one's love, maybe a more teenage kind of love. And the connection now is that Boy with Love shows a maturity in growth to not be direct and be content with the small things. So in many ways, it just alludes to their growth in, as men, as a K-pop group, as musicians.
Yes, and songwriting-wise, I think it's matured a lot. Their songwriting team is, of course, at least produced by P-Dog, who's a superstar in his own right. Responsible for most of Big Hit's hits, really. Big Hit being the company that has BTS. It's also co-written by Kim Namjoon, also known as RM. Also known as Rap Monster. But I'm not going to say that name because the Army's going to kill me. Because, RM just wants to go by RM. Yes. I respect that, okay? Next is Melanie Joy Fontana, Michelle Schultz, Bang Si-hyuk, who is a composer, producer, but most importantly, the CEO and founder of Big Hit Entertainment. Yes. Min Yoongi, who is also known as Suga, 설탕. Emily Weisband, Jong Hoseok, also known as J-Hope.
Yes.
And Ashley Frangipane.
Whoa.
Who is actually Halsey.
Oh, yes.
Yes, Ashley.
Nice. Ashley.
Yeah.
But yes, this song, yes, features Halsey. And what do you think about that? Like, featuring a person like Halsey.
This is a heavy thing to digest. I think on the surface level, people will just see it as, oh, look, a major artist from America working on K-pop songs. That's great. I see it as so much more than that. Halsey is a huge star in her own right.
Yes.
Amazing artist, very individual sound, all that. Most importantly, she has a lot of clout. She has a huge following, is very relevant in the music industry. And when you see someone like that, not only singing on a K-pop song, but also singing in the Korean language, there has to be, I have to say something about that. Because the thing is, what K-pop has done up to this point, now we're talking about all the way back to like Wonder Girls, we're talking about 소녀시대,
right?
All these groups that tried to cross over to America because for some reason, K-pop is kind of like salmon. They want to go over to a far distance, okay? Right. Even though I don't know why, I don't really know why they want to do that, but they want to make it over to America and just make it big over there. They want to go against the current and make a success. But BTS is the only group that has ever done that because there's already a demand for them in the West. They didn't try to go over there and force feed K-pop into anyone's mouths.
Right.
People were like, we're crazy about this group. Bring them over here. We need them right now. And so they're like, okay, fine. There's a demand there. I'm going to go and show my face over there and sing, and people are going to love it. That's a different dynamic than what has happened before.
Yes.
And so for Halsey to not only sing on this track, but to sing in the native tongue of this group, that is top dog swag right there. Okay, that's how you do a crossover.
Yeah.
A crossover is not about you succumbing to the culture of the country that you're trying to appeal to. It's about bringing your own country's flavor to that place because that's what that place liked about you anyway.
Right.
That's the first acknowledgement that I've ever seen from K-pop, and I totally applaud them for that. That's how K-pop is supposed to be done when it comes to a crossover.
Yeah.
I really respect that. And BTS has constantly done that. Look at BTS even as a name. It's 방탄소년단. It's not BTS, big, top stars. Like it's not. It's not that. Like it's literally Korean words. And people have to adjust their learning to that.
Right.
Okay, it's not just regular English words that are it's not, like I'm not trying to bash on anyone that has names that are in English because most of K-pop names are in English, okay? But just the very fact that their name is in Korean, it's almost like that's a representation of what they do globally on a global scale. I mean, everyone wants them, and all they do is simply be themselves.
So, I wanted to ask you this question. Like, do you think this is bigger for Halsey or do you think this is bigger for BTS at this point in their careers?
It's absolutely bigger for Halsey. Anyone that works for BTS or anyone that works with BTS, it is a gift for their life. And I'm not saying that because I am like such a huge BTS, like I'm not super partial to BTS. I see it objectively.
Yeah.
And I know what kind of a global force they are, and I know that they are because of legitimate reasons. I think their music is incredible. I think their production is incredible. I think their choreography is incredible. Everything is just so clean and so refined. And there's a reason why they have the biggest fan base in the world. And so for someone to score a hit with them, that is a blessing upon their lives. It's just how it is. Halsey's blessed. Anyone else, Steve Aoki, anyone that gets to get a cut on a BTS record, Ed Sheeran, like they're all blessed.
Yes. Very big. Very big. Let's go to the musical aspects of this song. And what kind of song is this? It's a very like funky. It's pretty much straightforward pop.
Yeah.
Very straightforward. The feeling is straight through, and what I really like about it is that K-pop now it goes into this like many different. They like put a bunch of different genres in one song together and try to put it together. But in this one, it's just straight through for me. It's just like there's no genre changes. There's nothing. It's just a straight up pop song.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's no like climactic special high note or anything like that we normally see. Yeah. It's just, once again, very straight through.
It's a solid song.
Yeah, solid song, solid straight through. And it just has great melodies in every section. I mean, this song, I was once again like examining like the chord progression of this song. It's the same 4 chords throughout the whole song. Yeah. There is no change whatsoever. Like sometimes people vary it in the chorus or vary it in the bridge or whatnot. But it's just the same 4 chords the whole time.
It goes to show that great music doesn't have to be complicated.
Yes.
And this is kind of a clinic in that, you know, it's a masterclass and simplicity reaches all ears.
Yes. And I was just thinking like, you know, and then I kept on thinking, you know, because it's, you know, just the same 4 chords the whole time, what makes it so interesting and what makes it so fresh? Because yes, like it's so simple, yet it's so good. I honestly, when I hop into my car for the past, you know, since it's been released, every day I probably start with this song first because it's just so good.
Right.
And I was just thinking like, why is this so interesting? And it's because, you know, it's such a simple idea, but the producer, whoever, you know, produces this whole track, they, you know, do a good job of bringing in and out like instruments in different sections and just dropping little parts out. You know, putting stuff back in.
Yes.
And yeah, it's just amazing what they do with it.
Yeah. A great example, I mean, there's several great examples of that in this song, but most notably, I actually noticed that in the pre-chorus. Before I get to that, though, I just want to touch on the fact that they have real bass and real guitar. That, I think, is unique because it brings a dance element to it that's almost funk related.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a blast from the past. And that real bass coming in with that string attack, you can hear it right from the get-go in the intro. It kind of made me think, oh, is like a real band, you know? Which is what they did in SNL.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. In the pre-chorus, that's when the beat, for the first time, I think, drops out.
Yes.
Right? And what happens there is the vocals actually carry that rhythm because it has almost like a stuttering type of rhythmic aspect to it, which makes up for the fact that the drums kind of fade out. And this is all for the sake of keeping the chord progression consistent. You know, the chord progression doesn't change, like you said, and so they have to still keep it interesting. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, amazing what they do with the song. But the intro does a good job of, like, you know, coming in with the music and introducing themes of the song, which is great because like the themes of the song, you know, go throughout whatever progression that you know that they play. Especially like in the beginning, where they, you know, the melody of "Boy with Love" is played on the keyboard. You know, and it's like
almost like a vocoder.
Yeah, and it's just like it like consistently rolls through. I love that aspect of it, just like, you know, reminding. You know, there's like consistently putting a theme into your mind, and I think that's what good music and viral music does. They put like a theme, and you just remember it.
Yeah, it's a thematic motive. You know, you find that a lot, and actually all the way back to Wagner, or you know, whoever learned from Wagner John Williams made those thematic motives in Star Wars based off of Wagner's music. Whenever Darth Vader comes in, you already know because of the music.
Right.
You know, and so those simple melodic ideas speak volumes about what's coming next in the song, and BTS does a great job of that in this song.
Right. I did want to touch up on, we were talking about like different ways they make things interesting, and they do try to make it very interesting in Suga's rap verse. But what did you think about that, Sam? Like, what did you come up with? Like, what did
specifically
you
on Suga's rap? We're talking about the second verse, right?
Yes, we're talking about the second verse after the chorus.
Right after the first chorus.
Yes.
Now, don't shoot me, but because I'm bulletproof, bro. But I was not a huge fan of Suga's entrance. It sounds a little awkward, and it might be because of the mixing. His voice might have been just way too loud in that part, where it just comes in all of a sudden very dry, no reverb, no effect whatsoever. It just comes in, and it's just a little jarring. You know, it's so melodic and so sultry. Everything is so nice and harmonic, and then he comes in with like a da 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 da. I'm like,
so my initial reaction was actually that, because I think on an initial playthrough, I don't really listen to lyrics. I just listen to feel of a song. You know, like what it makes me do, right? And then when I first heard it, I thought it was really cool. Like that, the beat that he like goes da 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 da. Like he does that kind of rap, and I think it comes in and brings a little freshness to whatever they were singing.
Yeah.
And then, like, as I keep on listening to it, his voice sounds very different from the way that he, like, the voice that he normally uses for rap. He sounded very different. So I thought it was somebody else. And then like I can't even understand what he's saying. And that's like my biggest problem. Like so then once I got past the point of listening to, the feeling of the song, then I started, listening to the lyrics.
Right.
I couldn't understand. I had to like open up like a lyric, book to even figure out what he was saying.
Right.
And is it like Koreans? Is it like their take on like mumble rap? I was like thinking to myself, is it just like them trying to be relevant?
I think that's true because he comes off as very like nonchalant, almost lazy when he comes in.
Yeah.
Like he didn't even care. He just woke up and started rapping. That's what it sounds like. And that's kind of what mumble rap is. And maybe that's what he's trying to go for. And if he is, I guess that works. I'm not a huge fan of it because this song is so lively.
Yeah.
You don't just come in with like mumble rap all of a sudden, I do agree though, it's a different element. Like it's kind of like a palate cleanser in some ways. Like you would never expect that. And so yes, it's interesting. I probably wouldn't have gone with that. Maybe a different type of flow. But rap I definitely agree with for the second verse.
Yeah, I wasn't with it. As much as I love the whole song, like when Suga like comes in, I definitely wasn't with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other interesting points about the music?
Well, this is all coming from a place where I think the song is great. I think it should be number one. It's so catchy. It's undeniable.
Yes.
If I were to talk about my least favorite part, though, okay, it's not actually Suga's rap. It's actually RM's rap that comes in around 3 minutes. When all the instruments are cleared out, or the beat is cleared out, and he's just rapping over the chords. Now, the reason why I'm not too fond of this part is because it reminds me of an artist that I'm not too fond of, and that is Pitbull. He sounds like he's Pitbull rapping. Like he sounds like the beat's about to come in soon, 4 on the floor, and he's just like getting the crowd pumped up. And to me, it's a little cheesy. I feel like he's like a DJ or some rapper like performing with a DJ in a club, and he's trying to get everyone going. And maybe some people dig that. Pitbull's obviously a major artist. There's a majority of people that probably like him, but for me, I'm just not really down with that. And so I got a major Pitbull vibe from that 3 minute mark.
Yeah.
So, but it's still catchy. It's still pop. His delivery is still perfect in that regard, like what he's trying to do.
Yeah, and RM is a very great rapper. He's very skilled. He's been acknowledged by many, even like rappers from America, as being really great.
Yeah,
so
he's a monster.
Yeah, he's a rap monster for sure. Lyrically speaking, I want to touch up on one part because I'm trying to get the context of it, and I don't understand it too much.
Okay.
Is when they say love is nothing stronger than a boy with love. What is that? Like, love is nothing stronger. Is that trying to say? Because it just doesn't, like, okay, grammatically that doesn't make sense at all. Love is nothing stronger. So is it just saying like a boy with love has the strongest love? Is that what it's trying to say? Or
I think that is what he's trying to say. Like, I think what it's saying is there's nothing defines the word love quite like a boy in love.
Okay.
Like, there's no purity, there's no dedication and commitment quite like a boy in love. That's kind of nice.
It is nice. Yeah. I thought it was that, but then I don't know if there's any, because BTS does at this point, I think in their careers, they need to use better English sometimes, for sure. I think a lot of our favorite parts, Sam and my favorite parts are when they use very awkward English, especially when there's one part in Jin's part where he says, "Come be my teacher," and then he says like, "I'll teach you everything," or "I want to know about your everything," and he just says, "You're one, you're two," which like what does that mean? Your first love, your second love, your
just wants to know everything about when you go number one and number two.
That's what Sam said, but I don't.
That's what he said.
That's what he said, not me.
Yeah, I mean, who knows what that means? It probably just means like I want to know all the basics about you, your 1, 2, 3s, your ABCs, maybe, who knows? Who knows? Maybe Halsey wrote that line, like she's just going to slip something in like, oh, this is going to fly in the market. It's fine. I'll just write some random words.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But apart from lyrics, for me, I mean, I think the lyrics are at least the theme is very clear. And all the cheesy parts, I think both of us can actually appreciate it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, if there's like a cheesy English part, I would never like change it. I would just laugh about it, but I want it to be there.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
Like we make fun of this, but then it's literally our favorite parts when it comes out.
It's the best part.
What do you feel about like Halsey's participation in the song in general?
I think it's just enough for her not to be annoying to listeners. Like, because the ARMY wants to hear BTS. And if there's a featured artist, they just want to hear a little taste. Little taste of the featured artist. And that's exactly what you have in the chorus. She comes in real quick, also sprinkles in some Korean with good pronunciation, as a matter of fact.
And then I Want It.
I Want It is annoying. That ad-lib where she says, I want it. I'm like, I don't care. Like, who says it like that? But anyway, it works rhythmically. It kind of pumps up the beat a little bit. I get it. Maybe it could have been pulled down on volume, but that's the engineer's job. And so do better next time.
Yeah, so I also want to jump into the music video because this is very connected. It all released at the same time in America and Korea. And I'm like, for sure, Blackpink, from our last episode was the fastest to reach 100 million views, and then BTS like shattered that, and they're already up in whatever hundreds of millions already. What did you think about the music video in general?
Well, I don't know if any of our followers saw the post on our Instagram, but we had a short conversation about this via text. At first, I was gonna say it's very flamboyant. It stands out a lot. It's very colorful. I think both of us generally like it. The boys are so pretty.
Yeah,
they're just pretty boys. And I was gonna say, you could slap a wig on Jimmy and then, you can holler at him if you want to. Some of those guys, it's crazy, like how pretty they are. Just, I don't know, their presentation, I could see why they stand out so much to the younger female demographic. But yeah, there's something crazy about the K-pop, I guess, like a gender thing. I don't know, they just bring a new definition to gender fluidity, man. It's crazy. Like, they're so feminine in some ways, but definitely clearly guys. But I thought it was a fun, entertaining music video that doesn't necessarily cater to what I want to watch, but it's interesting to watch nonetheless. Very stimulating, color-wise.
Yeah, the color-wise, I think the colors are great.
Yeah.
If I were to talk about the dance moves real quick, and then once again, if you listen to the past, I don't dance at all, but I love watching good choreography. And my first take actually from watching was that they weren't so focused on the choreography this time. They were very focused on just having fun and being, careless.
Smiling.
Of course, there are points where they are dancing, and I noticed that actually in the SNL, performance too, is that their dance isn't as crazy as it used to be, and they're focusing a lot more on just the vocal aspect and the performance aspect of it. Which, by the way, I did not like the fact that they used a live band for that SNL performance or the comeback performance.
Interesting.
Yeah, I just wasn't feeling that live sound. I think it didn't fit with production. Maybe it's because I was so used to just the sounds that I've been hearing through the
It's
CD.
funny because the production actually is live band.
Yeah, but it's just weird that when you actually hear it live, it just doesn't sound as good. I don't know.
Yeah,
it just didn't feel. It just felt really off. But yeah, it just feels like they're not trying so hard to dance, which is cool. I like it. I'm sure they're gonna release another track where it's a little bit more dance heavy, a little bit more swag heavy, But I liked the fact that they were, going with the theme of the song of being more careless and having fun and looking at the small things we said earlier.
They smile a lot in that music video.
They do. They do.
That's actually why I brought it up. Ho Chi Minh smiling. You smile like that, slap a wig on him, man. Asking for his number real quick.
And what I actually really loved was that Halsey actually dances with them, and I think that's epic because if you look back even in Idol, Nicki Minaj was featured, but then they don't have any scenes together.
Right.
So then I think watching the music video helped me understand the coolness of having Halsey in it. Just listening to the track, you only hear her really in the the post-chorus, like the bridge, you just hear her like only in small parts.
Right.
But it does show that she had something to do with it if you do watch the music video and put it all together. I really like that.
Yeah, she, especially because the dancing parts that she's a part of are not sexy dancing.
Yeah.
It's just like these like little I
didn't even expect
dances.
her to be able to do it. She actually looked really good doing it. And I'm kind of excited because they're going to be performing in the Billboard Awards coming in May, May 1st. And I'm really excited to see what she's going to do on stage with them. If she's actually going to do it live with them. It'll be,
I hope so.
Pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty interesting.
I want it.
Yeah. Like my favorite part of the music video actually goes in with my favorite part of the song.
What is that?
So shall we jump into that favorite part of our song?
I want it.
Yes. So what we're adding to each part of our segments now, or song reviews in a sense, is we are actually going to be adding in our favorite parts. Wow. And we're going to just kind of explain why it is our favorite parts. And Sam's not going to like my first favorite part because my favorite part is actually...
You're one, you're two.
Not that part, but it's the bridge actually with RM's verse.
Oh, shoot.
So... yeah, let's hear that one for 1 second. Okay, so why I actually really like this part, okay, it's because it's more musical. Okay. Like you say you don't like it because it drops, right? But then I like it because it just feels like there's actually a lack of a bridge in this whole song.
Yeah.
And it's just like the feeling of the song is very straight through.
Yeah.
And the fact that there is no bridge and it just kind of goes into a verse rather than like a total variation. Like I said, there's no chord changes. It's just very simple through and it's just like going thematically with the song.
Yeah.
I just love it. I love how it breaks down. And I like this. And I said my favorite part connects to this part is because BTS also has like a separate message in this song. They say it's boy with love, and all the lyrics, it all plays into like a boy in love with the girl. But it's also like when I listen to it a little bit more, and I think this is what they say too. It's actually like BTS's like message like towards their fans too. Like all the small things that the fans do for them. Yeah. It's kind of like a thank you. It's kind of like, oh, we are here because of you. And this is what I love about BTS is like they, love to incorporate these kind of, messages, the small messages towards their fans, towards the people that listen to their music to, show appreciation. And the part I'm talking about is actually in the music video, when this part comes out, everything drops out. It's just black. It's an empty stage with RM in it.
Right.
And what comes out as the bridge progresses is just a simple sign that says love. And then, so that love can also obviously pertain to a boy with love. But that love for me, it's all the fans love that, BTS has received. And then it cuts to a scene where all there's a group of people just like running towards the stage and there's all these neon lights, and on the neon lights, actually like the words and the lettering in the neon lights, it's all the album names that they've had, like Love Yourself, Tear, Wings, School Love Affair. It's just like neon signs of their albums, the names. So it's very, symbolic in the sense of, that love carried us to this point, and it's just showing that appreciation for that,
attributing that
part. And that's why this is my favorite part, because it just connects so well with the music video. It just musically works. Every aspect of it just like kind of felt like, oh man, like BTS, they're like legit.
Yeah,
they're really legit. Yeah,
super legit.
They're legit.
Yeah, I definitely respect that part. How he delivers everything is spot on for what he's going for. It's just that right at the end of it, I just imagine some bald guy coming out of nowhere and be like, "Dale,"
I mean, he does his own like kind of "let me fly."
yeah. It's cool. I think it might be the favorite part of a lot of people's. It's just that my unpopular opinion.
Right.
Not too fond of it. My favorite part is actually a very general part, which is the entrance of V. V's entrance, I think, it's great just because it's V's voice. I love V's voice.
Oh yeah, we are in love with V's voice. Yes.
It's like if you just stick a stick of butter down someone's throat and they start singing, that's what V's gonna sound like. Okay, like he comes in at 33 seconds, and we're just gonna take like 5 seconds to listen to that real quick. The reason why I like it is because simply the tone, like like melody and all that is great. There's no special thing about the chordal change, melody, anything like that. Yeah. It's just that the reason why V comes in there, I think it's intentional because Jimin was right before it.
Oh yeah,
Jimin. It's interesting. Okay, I have to say this. Jimin, I think is an X factor in the band, and the reason is because of Jimin's range, BTS from a musical sense has the same appeal as KARD. they are a co-ed band. Like he literally has a range that's higher than some girls.
Oh yeah.
And he uses that for the benefit of the group because you have to know that RM has a very low voice. V sounds like he's a 40-year-old sexy man.
Yeah.
Like, and so for Jimin's young, youthful, very high. But pure voice. It's not screechy. It's not annoying. It's very pure sounding. And then for that to be contrasted with this very mature sounding breathiness that V brings to the table, I think is an amazing contrast.
Yes.
And so that's my favorite part.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, like any part V comes in, like I listen carefully because his voice is something else. It's definitely different than what you're used to in a K-pop boy group. It has its own color. He has his own his single, I think it's called Singularity. In the past album is probably one of my favorite tracks that I love to hear him singing, and it's crazy. It's a good.
His voice is crazy.
It's a good voice.
Can you imagine having like a conversation with him? Like, I wouldn't even know what he's saying. I'm just listening to how he's saying it.
Yeah.
How's your day, man? Oh, so good.
I don't think that's how it is, Sam.
Really?
I think
I've never heard him talk. I just listen to him sing.
Yeah, but overall, final thoughts?
Overall, I would give this track a solid 8.5 out of 10. We're switching it up again. Okay? Last time it was thumbs up. This time I'm giving it out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. I think it's so solid. I think everything is catchy, unforgettable, undeniable. Catchy beat, catchy chorus, melody, everything, rap. Even the parts that I don't necessarily enjoy, they capture my attention. And that's what matters when it comes to a single.
Okay.
And so I respect that. It's only an 8.5 out of 10 only because of it's featuring Pitbull. But that's the grade that I give it. What do you think?
I give it a solid 8. For like all the things that I loved about it, 8 is still a very good score for me. I mean, I think there's a lot more legendary songs that I would give 9s or 10s than I would give this song. I wouldn't give this song like a 9 or 10. It's just really catchy. It's a good song. It's a good straight through flow. It's just a solid track. That's why I give it an 8. That's a very good score, like I said.
Yes.
But yeah. That is their single. Go watch the music video. Go contribute to, the millions of views that are out. And we go into the next song. So this time around, like I said, we're focusing this whole episode on BTS's new Map of the Soul persona. So what we did was we picked the single for sure, Boy With Love. But Sam and I, we picked our favorite tracks from the album, and we decided to talk about that. So we're going to start with Sam's favorite track, which is
Mikrokosmos.
Mikrokosmos, in Korean, which is Seoul Uju. And Seoul Uju actually has to deal with Uju, which is like universe. Seoul is like kind of like a Chinese character that means small. So that it does connect together. Nice. But a little bit of information about the song. The song context is that it's a very hopeful message to the fans. It's a very hopeful message to the fans. Once again, just like BTS's way of, once again, dedicating a song to their fans and dedicating a nice message to the people that listen to them, because they understand their position in this world, not just in the K-pop world, but just in this world. Yeah. They understand that a lot of people listen to them. They need to put out the right message. Once again, another reason why I respect them heavily. This title is a reference to the philosophy of microcosm. So the funny thing is I was like, oh, okay, I have to know what microcosm is. So I even researched this. Right. Microcosm is a long philosophical concept. In short, microcosm is the study how a human being is related to the world around himself or herself. It is the idea that we all live in our own world, in our own universe. So that's why it's Mikrokosmos. But every individual shares a harmonious relationship in parallel to everything around him or her. So everybody is technically in their own worlds, but yet connected with everybody like around them as well. The song is about the endless potential a human being has, being a very small part of a much bigger world. And there's just many reference to stars in this song. And I think it's because stars, there's so many stars in the night sky when we see, there's billions and billions of them. And that is actually supposed to represent like symbolically human beings. And human beings individually seem very insignificant in the grand scheme of things. Like stars, there's so many, they feel insignificant, but they are as important and make up the bigger picture altogether. And this obviously ties in with the theme of their album, which is Persona, which is all about self-discovery and one's own potential.
Right.
Yes.
It's interesting that they are writing songs about these grand scale things,
when I actually read this, I was surprised because it's really grand.
Yeah, it's grand, and it's because it pertains to their normal reality. For someone like anyone that's not famous, they don't have to think about these things.
Right.
Oh, am I really just one individual in the grand scheme of things? Yes, you are. It's very easy to imagine that. But when you're someone like RM, you got to think like, wow, I'm in the biggest group in the world, maybe of all time, but I'm still just a human being. Like, what does that mean? You know, like the amount of the amount of influence that they have over the entire globe, over pop culture. Yet they have the same blood streaming through their veins as the next person. I'm sure that's a reality that's kind of freaking them out sometimes, as it is evident in their songwriting.
Yes.
I also want to appreciate the fact that Mikrokosmos is written with K's instead of C's. Okay, so really quick. Written by Ryan Lowry, pop production duo Arcades, Marcus McCone, James F. Reynolds, RM, Suga, J-Hope, DJ Swivel Young, Candice Nicole Sosa, Melanie Joy Fontana, and Mitchell Schultz.
That's a very long cast of people.
But that's the thing, like, nowadays when it comes to someone walks into the studio and they're like, hey, what if you like sing like that real quick? They're like, okay, and then you get a credit. It's just how it is, like.
Interesting.
So who knows? I'm sure they all had some sort of significant role in the songwriting, but you just never know. Like sometimes there's like 30 people on a track credit. So one thing I do appreciate about this is it's very Western sounding, yet it doesn't compromise what they're going for. It doesn't change the BTS sound. It's simply like an unveiling of another aspect of what they usually sound like, or it's just they're kind of leveling up in some ways.
Sure.
I love the hopeful sound this song has.
Right.
And I think that really shows a lot in its, I guess it's really the instrument choices, the synth choices that they use, also the reverb. You were actually going to ask.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, like, how does this actually give off how does music in general actually just give up a hopeful sound, like that
apart
kind
from
of
lyrics,
positive, positive vibe.
Yeah.
How does it do that?
I think, in my opinion, it really has to do with chords, rhythm, and mixing. Mixing meaning, the final presentation of the song from a equalizing standpoint of frequencies. And in this song, the chords are obviously it's in the major key.
Right.
Rhythm-wise, I think it's very hopeful because it has a swing beat. It's a constant swinging beat, and so it's like everyone can sway along to a very distinct rhythm in a large group. And also, mix-wise, at the very least, they have a lot of reverb on it. They have a lot of distancing. So it makes the song sound very three-dimensional, if you understand what I mean. Like, there's a lot of upfront vocals, for instance, with V. And then there's still keys that are in the back, way far out. And it kind of grabs, like, this universal grand type of sound. But because it's in the major mode, it's it kind of brings a message of global hope.
I see.
And so that's kind of how I took it. Obviously, not all hopeful songs are just reverb and swing beats, but yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And obviously lyrics have so much to do with that hopeful message as well. But yeah, let's jump into the music a little bit. What are there any parts that you felt were interesting? Any parts that you...
Something that's very interesting to me, even though this is like nothing for anyone else, 10 seconds in is when the vocals come in, okay? 10 seconds in and the vocals come in and there's no impact. Like there's no cymbal, there's no crash. Like impact meaning there's no entrance impact to signify that the vocals are about to come in. The vocals just come in. So it's very understated. It's very discreet. They just come in. It's subtle. They just come in with a melody, and I think they trust the strength of the melody, so they don't have to come in with a grand entrance. I appreciate that, especially because the intro is quiet, and you don't want something to go boom and then the singing comes in, even though it's the biggest group ever. But that does set up for the eventual drop in. And that's one of my favorite parts. We can talk about favorite parts later, but that's one of my favorite parts is when the beat actually comes in, because that top line where they say "Ayo, Ayo," that, I don't know. For me, that just like pumps up the song to a whole another level. And so that's something that I really like. And these are always things like subtle things I always pick up on that like no one really cares about. For me, it makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, I also think like that AO brings so much to the song, because it does signal a different change in the beat. And yeah, I mean, like the music is driving, you know, there's like, I like the nice arpeggio riff in the background, and ding, 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 you know, like that sound that's going around. It feels very like 90s sounding to me. Like all the, I think like the, what do you call it? The sounds that they use is very 90s sounding, like the drum beats and the drum sounds. But yeah, like I'm more focused actually on the lyrics of the song, because the lyrics can only be so beautiful in a song, you know, that has this type of message, you know, that has had this grand message. And the lyrics that I want to touch upon is just the one in the hook, where they end the chorus leads into the hook, which is really cool. And then the line that they repeat is 가장 깊은 밤에 더 빛나는 별빛. And that actually means the light shines brightest in the darkest night. And we've heard that, quote in some sort of capacity, in various forms, you know, in our lives. But it's just so fitting to the song, you know,
how it's said.
And then like the music and the melodies that they do it, and then the hook, how it's built up, how it ends, everything is so good. You know, like the way that they present it. And it just plays so well. And then I can just imagine this song just being like one of those like last songs of their set, you know, of the night.
And then they all come out with towels and they're waving at the crowd. They're like, oh yeah, we're tired.
And then they're
done.
like crying, you know, and like the BTS army is just going wild with candles, or now equivalent of candles, flashlights on their phones.
And to that point, I really like their post-chorus hooks. You know, after the chorus, they have like that little sing-along thing. I like it when they do that. And my other favorite song that has that is actually, what is that song, man? The one with the Chainsmokers. It's from several albums ago. Best of Me.
Oh, okay.
Best of Me. You got the best of me. And then they come in at the end of the song. They come in with this huge soccer chant, and I thought that was the best thing that ever happened in K-pop up to that point. And so I realized they're really good at this group chant thing, you know, because they're very well acquainted with groups, you know, because they're always surrounded by enormous crowds.
For sure.
I also want to mention at the very end of the song, the very last chorus, once they enter it from the bridge, I believe it has to be Jimin, because I don't know who else has this range, but he hits a high note.
Like the high note.
The high note of every last chorus of every K-pop song, he hits it. But he hits a high note that can easily be lower, because even if he goes several notes lower to hit a high note, it still wouldn't interfere with the main vocals range at all. They would not be hitting any of the same notes. So he could be singing a lower note for all we care. But he went hard for us.
It was J-Hope, bro.
It was J-Hope hitting that note?
No.
Because I would have been really impressed. Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like on stage, he just comes out.
Someone just like kicks him in the balls and he's like, ah! But I think that's pretty impressive, for someone to go so all out with that high note. Who knows if he does it live, but if he does, that's a testament to BTS still putting in their all. Right. Regardless of success. A lot of groups become a victim of their own success. They stop trying so hard. They're like, they're gonna eat up the music anyway. Why try any harder anymore? This is like maybe the highest note I've ever heard him sing. You know, so like, and it's not even the title track. You know? So it goes to show that they care about all the songs on the record.
For sure.
There's no such thing as a filler track when it comes to a BTS album.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I feel the same way. Let's go into our favorite parts.
Okay.
Sam, what was your favorite part?
My favorite part is 50 seconds in. This is halfway through the pre-chorus. Okay. Now, right at the halfway point, they come in with a O harmony to re-enter the vocal part. And the reason why this is interesting is because it comes in a 16th note before the downbeat, a 16th note before the one of the next measure. The reason why this is significant is because there's no drums in this part. And so for you to come in on that offbeat, it signifies a different type of swing. And so with the vocals, with the vocal melodies, you're emphasizing the swing structure of the beat still. Right? You're reinforcing it even though the drums are not even in there. And so I think that's such a subtle yet tactical approach to maintaining the rhythm while the drum beats go on.
Okay, cool. Let's take a listen.
Yeah, so with that, it goes right into the chorus, which especially highlights the swing beat. And if I may just say one more thing about the chorus melody.
Oh, yes, please.
This is something that I don't know if all the listeners can understand, partially because I'm not that good at explaining, more so than people lacking any musical knowledge, but I'll try my best. So going into the chorus, I think going off of the swing beat idea, I appreciate the fact that at the end of each phrase of the chorus, melodically speaking, it hits the re before the do. It hits the second note before the do, even though the chords are hitting the do chord. Now, what that is a dissonance. In some ways, you can call it a suspension.
Right.
But to me, what that is it's almost like a musical boomerang. You throw it out there, it loses stability for a second, and it slaps right back into your hand.
Nice.
And melodically, that's what they're doing on the swing beat. So it reinforces the rhythm, and it causes you to kind of, oh, what's going on? Okay, we're back at home, And so I really appreciate that for the end of each phrase of the chorus.
Nice. Yes, my favorite part is, like the post-chorus, the last chorus, like what they end the song with. And because I've been talking about lyrically so much, obviously it's because like the lyrical sense and the message of the song, and like this outro just does a good job of ending that message. This is like the culmination of their message, because what they do is, they come in from the bridge. They do have a bridge in the song. They cut into the chorus, and you think the chorus is going, but they cut the chorus actually short by 2 lines, or maybe like a few measures or so, and then they jump into the climactic moment of the song, which is this part, which is the overall message, which is shine, light, shine, shine, dream, smile. Let our light shine together. That whole spiel, right? Let us use our light to help each other out. Even if you live in your own little world, there are many around, and you are not alone. That's their message that they're trying to give out to people. So I just love the whole aspect of it. Yeah, so let's take a listen. Yeah, and then they just go into this bridge. It just goes into the climax, and then they get into their chants. The na-na-nas. The na-na-na-na-nas. I love that part. And they end the song. I think it's just a overall solid song. Yeah.
Awesome. I agree. It's my favorite track on the entire thing. And I think every single track is very solid, actually, but I had to choose this one. And I don't know if anyone knows this group, but this group is called Gautier. It's an Australian singer-songwriter. He's a percussionist. He's most notable for the song Somebody I Used to Know. I saw them live in Korea, as a matter of fact. It was incredible. And this is the exact type of style of music that he has, this very grand, percussive type of hopeful style. And so it immediately made me think of that songwriter, and I just love that style. You know, global, huge, impactful,
grand.
Yeah, love
Very
it.
cool.
I would give this a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5.
Yes.
Wow. 9.5.
Yes.
That's solid. That's really solid.
It's very solid.
That's very solid.
I put this on repeat whenever I run. Like when you run, you need a pump up song. And a lot of people, you know, put on like EDM or hardcore rap or whatever. I listen to K-pop boys. Yeah. I just listen to K-pop songs, and this song has been on repeat.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I give this a solid 8 out of 10 too. Overall, good message.
How dare you?
Overall, good message. You know, I still like Boy With Love more because of just the feel of the song. But I really like the message of the song. This message is top notch. Yeah. Top-notch message. We're going into my favorite song of the album, which is directly the next track on this album. So Boy With Love is the second track. Mikrokosmos is the third track. And the fourth track of this album is Make It Right. Make It Right. Very simple song. Once again, kind of a very straightforward song. Before we get into the musical aspects of it, this song is about talking about the process of trying to make things right with the person that once stuck with you, understood your own hardship and troubles, but you pushed them away. So you're trying to make things right. You're trying to remedy things. Okay. So that's what the Make It Right on this song is about. Some credits.
Creds: Benji Gibson, Fred Gibson, RM, J-Hope, Suga, Joe Hill, and of course, Ed Sheeran.
Yes, and this was the big song of the album where Ed Sheeran was, involved in, which is cool, which is great.
Very cool.
Yeah, very great. Ed Sheeran is also, I think he's pretty worldwide. Koreans
Superstar.
Love his music.
Yeah.
And for him to participate in a song like this, that does have it has a kind of like a Ed Sheeran vibe to it. There is some sort of vibe where Ed Sheeran does a good job of, once again, like sticking like a theme into your song, into your head.
Yeah.
And obviously the theme of this song is that catchy little brass. Is it brass that they play? Like, what is it?
It sounds like trumpet, but then it's played like a sax. I don't know.
I really don't know what kind of mix they're using on that. But then that catchy brass line is just like that is that theme of the whole song that drives the song, and it's very good. It's very good.
Yes. Ed Sheeran is a great songwriter. The other artist's song that I like from him is Justin Bieber's Love Yourself. You should go and love yourself.
You love yourself.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best songs ever. When I heard that, I immediately knew Ed Sheeran had some sort of fingerprint on there. When I heard this song, I did not expect that. Maybe it's because, I thought K-pop wouldn't be working too much with Western artists, but, of course I should be mistaken because BTS is all over the world.
Right.
But knowing that Ed Sheeran's on here, it makes so much sense.
Right.
He's a master of simple melodic ideas that are refined so that it's addictive right away.
Right.
Just simple yet addictive.
Right.
And he's really good at that. And so I think it was a great collaboration. I think everyone delivers on this track.
Yeah. Well, what are some musical aspects of this song that you thought were good?
Well, I would say, just like how you feel, I love the horn lead. But one thing that's very understated about this, but it kind of makes the song, is that, in the pre-chorus is the first time when the vocals start mimicking the horn lead, right? Well, I think the horn lead, that melody, whether it's the vocals or the horn, it needs to be undistracted, uncluttered. And so a lot of times something that clutters a song is actually the bass, or it could be a drum fill, or it could be vocals colliding with something else. In this case, there's an 808 in the song, and the 808 is played in such a way that it decays, meaning it disappears by the time the melody of the lead comes in. So the bass, usually, if you're playing a real bass guitar, you hold out a note, it's eventually going to disappear. The thing about 808s is you can hold the key down and the 808 is going to resonate for life, okay? So they intentionally did this. They intentionally made it so that the bass hits hard, disappears by the time the melody of the horn comes in. And so I appreciate their minimalism, their ability, the songwriter's abilities to kind of compartmentalize ideas so that it has its own respective impact, yet makes way for each other.
Yeah, the production level of BTS, is massive. Like they're able to know what like the general fan audience wants to hear, and even for people like us who are a little bit more in tune with the music and what goes on in the background, we recognize these things and we appreciate how much work is actually put into like thinking about even the small details. They matter in pushing out a song, in putting it out to where they're trying to, like, in the way that they want people to hear it in. Which is really cool. Yeah.
What's your favorite part?
My favorite part of this song is actually just the way that the brass line and the melody repeat, like, they echo each other.
Yes.
The echo of,
So
like,
good.
like it starts from, it happens throughout the song, but it first happens at 28 seconds. In the first, they call it the refrain, like before the actual pre-chorus chorus parts, and even in the chorus, they do it in a different way. So I just like a lot of it, like the way that they mix it together, the way they drive that theme into your head. Just love it.
It's funny because I wrote down favorite part 29 seconds when the vocal melody mimics the instrumental lead. So why don't we take a second to listen to that real quick?
Baby, I can make it better. I could hold you tighter. Come on, give it
Such a simple idea to use, just to mimic an instrumental lead, but that's what you need in this song. The whole time, like right before that part, I guess you can call it the pre-chorus. Like right before that, I was wondering, like, when is the vocal going to do this part? When is the vocal going to mimic the horn? And then it does, and it's so satisfying. It's expected yet satisfying.
I just they just do a great job with just setting up the song and putting things where they're supposed to be. It's so straightforward. It's so simple, and I think that's one thing about a lot of the songs, or like the three songs that we covered today. Very straightforward, very simple, yet there's just so many things that we could touch up on, whether it's the message or whether it's lyrically, whether it's just musically and the production level, how they mix it together, in just all levels. BTS just works.
Dominates.
They dominate.
I would give it an 8 out of 10.
This song, yes, solid 8 out of 10 for me. I think my parameter is that, it's just a good song. I mean, it doesn't go into like the next levels for me. Definitely, like I said, I still listen to Boy With Love more than these tracks. But I still listen to these because it's so catchy and it's so good.
So catchy.
Yeah, so catchy. Yes, and that's our kBOPz of the week. These three songs are part of their album, Map of the Soul Persona. Comes in 4 versions. And I thought they just were different shades of pink. But then they actually have different things in there, like different posters, different art. So check it out. Go support. Not that they need it, because it's probably the highest selling album right now in the first place.
Support them anyway. It's great music.
Great music.
Support great music.
Yeah, 7-track album. Just real quick, their first track is Intro Persona, and it's by RM. So what they do in their albums is they always start off with one person kind of leading a full track. And this is RM's track. And what they actually do in this song is they actually sample a song from that past album, School Love Affair. So they sample a part of it to make the beat, which is once again very cool. Second track is Boy With Love, 작은 것들을 위한 시. Number 3, Mikrokosmos, 소우주. Number 4, Make It Right. Number 5, Home. Number 6, Jamais Vu. And number 7, Dionysus.
I don't know, man.
It's a Greek, god, I think, of wine. I don't know. I don't know. But that's their mic drop off this album, by the way. The Dionysus, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Solid album. Go take a listen to it. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know what you guys thought about our reviews on our Instagram or even our Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
Next up is TT. So in this section, we go through past top songs in the past 20 years, 15 years, 10 years, and 5 years. We're going to jump right into it. Here is 1999 in the second week of April. So, up to last week, there was one number one song by Kim Yeon-jung, which is out at number 2. And now at number 1 is Kim Min-jong, who is, once again, a very old school ballad, kind of a rock-ish group, rockish male solo singer. He's also famous because he was in, Boys with Flowers? 꽃보다 남자? He was one of the characters in there. So he's also an actor. But yeah, a very... famous guy. And we have Cologne here in number 3. Cologne is kind of like the... they actually, I think, I don't say they brought it, but then they made it kind of relevant in K-pop, like trance, techno.
Yeah.
That kind of feel of music.
They were the pit bulls of their time.
The pit bull.
But I like them, though.
They're really fun. They're really fun.
They're awesome. I appreciate the fact that there's Im Jae-bum on this top 10 here.
Again, yes.
I never heard that track, but I love the title. 사랑보다 깊은 상처. It
a
means
love that's deeper than...
a scar that's deeper than love.
Oh, a scar that's deeper than
yes.
love.
Of course, it's got to be a scar that's deeper than love when it comes to him. It's got to be about pain.
It's about pain.
Yeah.
It's all about pain.
Very deep.
And we see Park Jung-yeon, Lena Park, 편지할게요, which is a very solid little R&B, Korean R&B track that kind of put her into relevance as well. So we see a lot of songs here. Once again, old school. That kind of paint how long actually these people have been around, because I'm sure you guys, I hope you guys recognize Lena Park, one of the divas in Korea.
Iconic voices.
Yeah, iconic voices. So that's 1999.
All right.
We jump into 2004, and we up to the last point, we had Tae, which is at number 3, 사랑의 향기를 남기고 in number 1. But we now see 2 female solo artists. Now I know the Lee Soo-young song, 꿈에. This is one of probably her biggest songs ever. Once again, a female solo singer. But I actually don't know this 야상곡. If I listen to it, I'll know, by Kim Yuna. I'll have to take a listen to it. But some notes. What do we see here? We still see 동반신기.
Yeah, we still see Hug.
Yeah.
Still an iconic track.
We still see 서태지.
Next time we go to 노래방, let's actually sing Hug. Just us two.
Yes, just us two.
Yeah.
I'm down. I am down. But we see, just a lot of, other than Hug and maybe 서태지, we see once again just a lot of, ballads that are, dominating.
Yep.
Not really K-pop music. This is where, K-pop was back then.
Yep.
It's, a lot of ballads, a lot of, vocal music. Rather
it goes
than
to show Korea, if you want to appeal to the Korean market or Korean ears in general, not even about the market, it's about singing. It's just singing. About singing.
Yes.
All right. You got to deliver correctly.
Yes. That is 2004. Yes. We go into 2009. And we have a new number 1. Lollipop. So this is, once again, it's just where K-pop is kind of transitioning into the K-pop that we know now.
Yeah.
We see a lot more tracks and a lot more artists that we recognize. Lollipop, Big Bang and 21's, collab. That was once for a Samsung phone, I think, commercial. 빨리빨리 dropped to number 4. We have Sorry Sorry still up there. Sorry. We also have K-Will, who's an incredible male singer.
Yes.
눈물이 뚝뚝. This is also one of his probably bigger songs that he ever came out with. That once again put him into relevance.
Yeah.
So take a listen to that. That's a really good track right there. Other than that, nothing special.
And that is the time traveler of this week.
Oh, we have one more. Oh, 2014.
Oh, damn.
Yes, the most recent. Wow. And we see very different. What was last week's? Last week's, it was 야생화.
Yeah.
And then it was actually number 2 was A Pink, and in just a week. So Akdong Musician is one of the winners from K-pop Star.
Yeah.
And they're huge because, they're just known for their genius level songwriting, they're really good.
Interesting, because they're an organic songwriting duo, but they got signed to YG, which is a very interesting dynamic. It shows especially in their music videos.
Right. And
music.
3 tracks in the top 10. This is their debut album. Like right off of their win in K-pop Star, which is pretty huge that they are able to get up there.
Yeah.
We see number 2, 봄사랑 벚꽃 말고. This is a pretty popular springtime track. It features IU and in a boy group named High4. Really nice track, really fun track.
I love IU.
Yes, we love IU. Maybe we'll have an episode just on IU one day.
A whole season, please. Yeah.
A whole season, maybe. But yeah, that is the top 10 in 2014.
Very
Nothing
nice.
in particular other than certain songs that went down. But yeah, that is our Time Traveler.
TT.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, and that is pretty much our episode today. We'll end it with some songs in our playlist.
Okay.
Yeah. What are you listening to these days, Sam?
Well, yesterday I was just listening to FKJ. He's also known as French Kiwi Juice. People think
on my
he's
playlist
fresh
too.
Kiwi Juice, but it's
Yes.
French Kiwi Juice. And I was just listening to like the latest album that he put out, just in
yes.
general. I think it's really good. We're gonna see him tonight.
Yes, we're like he's also on my playlist right now because we're going to go see him live, which is going to be really fun. And been listening to just catching up with his music. Check him out, French Kiwi Juice. He's like a talented multi-instrumentalist. He plays pretty much everything. He's like the master of the loop.
Yeah, if you wanna look at anyone and maybe get discouraged enough to quit music, just watch him.
Watch FKJ.
Yeah, if you ever want to do that.
And he collabs with a lot of people. He was recently at Coachella too, on a smaller stage. But yeah, he was there as well. Anything else that you're listening to?
That's all I was listening to.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was also listening to Anderson .Paak's new album, Ventura. Nice. It's a very solid album. I love Anderson .Paak. He's from LA,
partially Korean,
and he's like the story of like just like that drive to make music work for him, and he just did what he can, and he came into relevance, and he was at Coachella as well, like he's up there now.
Yep.
So kudos to him. But I listened to his new album this time, Ventura, and it's, like I said, very solid track. The first track is with Andre 3000, which is really cool. So take a listen to those. Anything else?
I guess I was kind of listening to Billie Eilish's latest record
Billie
too.
Eilish's new album is pretty cool too.
Very good.
And obviously I've been listening to BTS nonstop.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's probably like the only Korean music that I actually have been listening to this past week is just BTS.
I just see Pink in my sleep now. That's all I watch and listen to.
But yeah, we do also listen to a lot of music, a variety of music as well. Yeah, so if you guys need any, advice on what to listen to, suggestions, just listen to the songs that we just talked about right now. They're solid artists.
You're gonna like it.
Artists. Yes. Quick things before we cut out of here. We still have our giveaway. Our IG post is up. You just have to follow it, like the video, tag one person on the photo. We're giving away a Monster X CD and a BAP signed CD. Two people.
Absolute perfect.
Yes, 2 people that we are going to choose randomly. We'll also be putting up a new giveaway very soon. So after you listen to this, please go follow us, like us. Our IG, Twitter, and YouTube, it's now up on YouTube, is K-Drop Podcast. So
K-Drop Podcast.
Take a look. Yes. Our podcast is available on all platforms. It's finally on iTunes. Took a long time, but iTunes finally took us. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher. So please subscribe, listen, get on it.
And how can people follow you, James?
I am on James Yi, JAMZYI.
And I am Samuel Lee, SAMUILEE. So follow us.
Please follow us. See what we're doing. I think this past weekend I went on a hunt for Jenny. You might could have seen that in my story because she was in LA because they're performing tomorrow. Actually, they're performing Wednesday of this week, April 17th at the Forum. So they were around. But that is all for episode 3, the Return of BTS.
That's all, folks.
That's all, folks. Have a great week.
Yep.
Go listen to BTS. And we out.
We out. We love you. Bye-bye.
Peace.